Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the stream, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting ready to start here any moment now. So, well, somebody got to show up first. Then we'll show up. Then we shall play hostess. So, but y'all know we start our streams just a smidge early, and of course we couldn't stop without a stream that deserved this. And I did not buy the reissue. This is the original copy of the toy. I just happen to have this. What's going on, Zaga? How you doing? How are you doing? Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. And now that one person is here, we can begin to work on the beautiful majesty that is all of this. So, I'm going to move that off to the side. That being said, what do y'all think of my own little creation on how to, like, manage this? Take note, this is, like, barely holding on in there. So, but, anyways, holy moly, are you going to build Devastator? You absolutely are correct. I am going to build Devastator because I have Bone Crusher sitting off to the side here. This I ordered from Amazon. Can't you tell? They beat the shit out of my box. I'm not happy about that, but they beat the shit out of it. I'm not upset over the fact that they beat the crap out of my box because I'm still going to get the figure. The figure's still going to get unboxed. Everything's going to get taken care of, so still going to happen. But I got to move all that off to the side. That being said, which one do we want to work on first? I'm gonna be real with you, they both are kind of easy the same. That being said, Zaga, which one would you like to see me do first? Or open first? Let me share this to one more place. Apologies, folks. Ugh. So, you want me to do Mixmaster first? Alright, we can do Mixmaster first. We'll do him first. Alright. Time to get the old skizzers out. Time to get the old skizzers. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. And so, funny story about Mixmaster, believe it or not. I got this guy on a whim. Seriously. And to my knowledge, this is the only Mixmaster that was sold within like a 30 to 40 mile radius of me. So I'm very surprised that I managed to get this, but I'm very happy nonetheless. So, oh, they ended up getting the entire barrel, like the cement barrel, packaged separately. So, start with this. Some weird looking packaging that they've got this guy boxed in. But then again, I'm not, bro. I don't make the weird decisions for the fan base. So, that's... Alrighty, Mixmaster comes out like so. And there we go. Let me take that, place that off to the side. And because MGO exists, this isn't going to be that big of a problem. So, but I do know this has to... I thought this had to fold inward. There we go, yeah. It has to fold inward in order for it to be in robot mode. Oh, that's just lazy. Hasbro, really? You guys couldn't be, I don't know, a little bit more... I don't like the fact that we have to add that. Oh, what's going on there, Gordon the Glowworm? How you doing? How are you all doing? So... But you are absolutely correct there. I am going to turn this guy into Devastator, but first I gotta make sure that I have everything here all unboxed and ready to go. So, but I am gonna get this into Devastator, and then we're gonna get these guys into their vehicle modes, and we're gonna leave the combined form of Devastator alone. That being said, if y'all didn't notice, we did review Megatron last week, so y'all are more than welcome to do that. So, all right. Now, Scavenger. You have... By the way, do you guys know how long this stuff has been sitting here taunting me? Hey, what's going on there, Riveted? How you doing? But do you guys know how long this and Mixmaster have been sitting here taunting me by their presence? In the fact that I know I can't unbox it or do anything until after, later on in the week? So, it's very frustrating. But, then again, I have rules that I have to adhere by too, so let's just get that out of the way, and we'll take that one out as well. Alright, and should be able to just... There we go. Oh wait, hold on. There's one thing I forgot, or nearly forgot, I should say. So, there we go. So, this is his weapon. Hooray! That being said, if you guys do decide to subscribe, I would 100% appreciate that. Due to one simple fact, and the fact of that matter is that we are super duper close to 2,000 subscribers. I would very much so like to get to 2,000 subscribers before the end of the year. If y'all can help me with that and make it a reality, I would love so. I would love for that to happen. So, okay, so that goes there, that goes there. And then this goes right here. And there we have all of the Constructicons, finally. All the Studio Series 86 Constructicons are finally here. Finally, they're all here. Super, super stoked about that. Now, let's get all this into Devastator, because I'm dying to do so. So, start with the legs here, because these guys are pretty easy to do. Or at the very least, my copy was pretty easy to do, so... Alright. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since I've done Scrapper. It's been a minute since I've done all these figures. It's been a quick minute, so... But this is a great time for everybody to start asking the questions. We'll get into the questions and comments in these videos as well. So please ask away your questions, ladies and germs. We 100%, or maybe not ladies and germs, but ladies, guys, gals, non-binary pals, whatever the heck you identify as. I don't care what you identify as. Just come and enjoy the stream. If y'all love Transformers, just come and enjoy the stream. So, yeah. What would you say is the best Bumblebee? That depends. Are we talking... and take note, this is going to also sound really funny, but also, which version of Bumblebee are we talking about? Because there's a ton of them. So, I am not going to sit... I'm not going to sit there and question everything with Bumblebee, but... I do know this. The best Bumblebee movie version of Bumblebee is probably the one that they just redid, which would be the they re-released the Volkswagen Beetle version of Bumblebee recently, and that was for the redo of the whatchamacallit. It wasn't for Rise of the Beasts. It was for the Bumblebee movie. Bumblebee movie figures. But the reason that they did that was because they were not satisfied with how the last one came out. And again, I can't complain because I'm in the minority of people who also had some issues with that figure. I was one of those people who had the figure quite early on when it came out. And I could not get on board with it at all in the slightest. So... I mean, take note, for those people who could get on board with that figure, hey, more power to you guys. I personally couldn't. Alright, I think I'm messing up somewhere on Mixmaster. Well, his waist doesn't swivel, even though he absolutely could have had one. Wow, that's bad. Oh, well... No. Okay. Jeez. And then bend it at that reverse hinge. There. Jeez. It just did not want to reverse hinge on the knees. Jeez Louise. Will you just hinge properly? Ah. Ah. Jeez, that was annoying. Because I know I have to have it like this, and then I'm supposed to take these, bring these up, like so, and there. That's the only reason I know this. The only reason I know this transformation is once again because MGO exists. You have one ankle pivot, which again, not that big of a deal, but whatever. So then you're supposed to take this and open this all the way up. There. Get the legs. Hold on here. What's up, Trooster Tube? What's up? What's up? Yes, it is all 6. It is all 6. The original G. Oh, sorry. I apologize. I haven't looked at the chat for a quick minute here. The best G1, the original one, or yeah. No, I personally liked the what was it? I personally liked the Bumblebee movie version, which was fairly good. I just my one issue with that particular figure is actually the fact that that figure even really. Okay, there we go. This needs to go down. That needs to go down. And this is supposed to be like this. So, alright, and then you just take this, slide that on in there, close that back up, and then we take that one, combine that up with, oh, don't you dare. There we go. Oh, so excited. The legs are here. The legs are finally here. Because if y'all remember, last time he couldn't stand. So, I have all the releases. Is that all 6? Yes, it is all 6. Trooster Tube, that's weird. All my Transformers twist at all the waist, and that's weird. Yes, it is Trooster Tube. I have the Bumblebee movie Soundwave. That is a good version of Soundwave. The Ratchet joint. Yes, the Ratchet joints do go hard. Zaga the Animator. Soundwave might be one of my favorite Decepticons. He's one of my favorite Decepticons too. However, the problem with me is that I have a very, very particular niche for this guy. I have a very specific niche for this dude. This guy is my jam. So yeah, I can't complain about that. Hold on here. What's up, Boingnania? I don't know how to say that or pronounce that properly. Awesome, you got to complete Devastator. I just picked Mixmaster a few hours ago. The dog I have is missing his front left foot, I think. Which dog? Particularly, because there's several Transformers that have dogs and or cats and or big animals particularly. So need more specificities there, peoples. So there we go. There's that. Let's get all this going right here. Now I'm not gonna lie, it has been a quick minute since I've messed with Hook and Long Haul, but Long Haul seems to be the easier one to do, so we'll get that one started out first. So let's make sure all of this stays. There we go. That's better. That's much better. There we go. So it's been a minute since I messed with this guy. So from what I remember, it went a little something like this. And these. I don't remember how long haul went exactly. I remember I had to get him into vehicle mode first in order for any of this to actually work out. So that much I do remember. But oh my gosh, it's been a quick minute. So hold on here. The one that comes with the Bumblebee movie Soundwave. There wasn't one that came with the Bumblebee movie Soundwave, but you are speaking of Ravage in particularly, because that one definitely did come with him for sure. Let me get him. Let me get this guy into vehicle mode. It's been a quick minute, so it's been a very quick minute since I've messed with this guy. Come on. No, you're not gonna do that. Do you guys see this? His head lip just came up over this. Okay, that's because I couldn't pay attention. Good job, Darren. Good job, Thomas Fan 1. What's up, Corey Tucker? How you doing? How you doing? I have 4 out of 6 looking for Mixmaster in my area. Hey, I can appreciate the hustle in that area. I can definitely appreciate that. Definitely can appreciate that. That's where I cocked up. For those of you who do not know what the word, what I'm referring to, I am referring to a mistake. So, yeah. This has to go like this, and then this all has to come down, I think. It's been a quick minute, like I said. And I can't leave that down because that pushes the head up. I genuinely, forgive me, folks. It has been truly a quick minute since I've messed with this. There we go. I do believe that goes like that. This goes like this, I think. It's been a freaking minute, so please. So I'm doing good. Hey, you know what's going on, Tube? I do appreciate you. I did see you. I do see you. I do see everybody. I do see everybody, and I do see how they're doing. There we go. I think I figured that out. There we go. Yep, that's where I screwed up. Okay. Because then that locks up like so. That one has to go pegging in right there. That pegs into that slot. That pegs into that slot. There we go. That's better. And then you take this and you just shove it right on in. Right on in here. Alright, jeez Louise, come on. That's not what I want. I want this to go right on top. There we go. That's better. Although now he has become extremely back heavy. This now he's got to connect his ass to his back. There we go. Now we've got his waist done. Oh, for crying out loud, don't do that to me. I just noticed that I'm having issues with this one spot in my Mixmaster bit. I'm supposed to have all of this folded down, but it don't want to fold down. Not to mention those are supposed to also be out too as well. But there we go, that's better. Nope, that's not. That is. There we go. That needs to stay in its spot. Uh-oh. Mixmaster's arm did not just break off. Okay. I feel slightly better about that, but I do know that needs to go here. This needs to be reattached here. That's already not a good sign for Mixmaster, folks. Mixmaster is already having problems. Hold on. Now you need a Hauler, Dirt Boss, and Gravedigger to go with those Constructicons to really complete the team. I get that. My Power Ranger I ordered is on its way and should arrive next week. I'm going to be real with you. I've only ever met 3 Power Rangers in my life, and that was due to my previous job. In my previous job, I worked at a toy store with somebody who was very, very good friends with all the Power Rangers, and if I have to throw this one in there as well, I also did get to meet Jason David Frank 2 weeks he passed away. I personally don't give a rip for Power Rangers. I really don't. I could care less. I honestly could care less. And I have my reasons for it, but I did get to meet Jason David Frank before he passed away. So, the backpack is... It's not even a backpack. It's more like an ass pack. So, yeah. I mean, you're not even really missing much on that front. But let's get into Hook, and then we can officially work on getting him into his final form. So, I'm gonna get this guy into vehicle mode. It has, like I said, it's been a quick minute since I've reviewed Long Haul. It's been a quick minute since I've reviewed Hook. It's been a quick minute since I've reviewed, really, all the Constructicons because of how they came out in my area. So... But no, I did get to meet Jason David Frank 2 weeks before he passed away. In fact, it was such an awkward encounter with him. I didn't even know who the heck he was. And truth be told, that's a genuine fact. Take note, I don't have a problem with Jason David Frank. He's a freaking amazing actor, amazing guy, amazing person in Hollywood, the whole deal. But I personally just don't care for Power Rangers. Like, you could seriously hold a gun to my face, and I would probably not even know a single name of any of that, so... But, I can tell you this much. I did get to meet him before he passed away, and it was quite an interesting altercation. I'll tell you guys about it here in just a second. So as soon as I get this guy all back in his spot and ready to go, there we go, and then we take this, swing this all the way around, close this up, do this, flip that out, and flip this out, make sure all of that goes down. I don't think this one needs to be out. I think this one can just be pegged back in. There's the head. Flip that out. Come on. So. There we go. But, very close. Where'd you get Mixmaster at? I got him at Walmart, believe it or not. And I have no idea if y'all are going to be able to find him at Walmart right now, because like I said, there's a lot of pre-orders, there's a lot of other stuff that goes on. But I can tell you that it had just been placed down on the shelf, and I had just... Let me see here. There we go. Well, I don't like that. Certainly don't like the way that feels. Okay, where do I... There we go. Supposed to have that clip on there. That's where I want that clip on. There we go. Almost there. Almost there, folks. We're almost there. We are almost there. But yes, I do agree. The ratchet joints are quite nice. So there we go. Now we just got to work on the arms. Hold on here. Anywhere near the northern Midwest? I'm in Utah. And real quickly, I'm fairly certain I got the only one that's within a 30 to 40 mile radius in my entire... I didn't forget to lock him in. He keeps uncoming done. Like, seriously, look. He doesn't fucking want to stay put. I have tried locking him in. If you criticize me one more time, I'm going to kick you. Freaking tired of it. You don't need to make points to an obvious thing I've already paid attention to. Many a times. Anyways, Lemon Lime Studios is here? He is. Where is he? Where is Lemon? Oh, there he is. What's going on, Lemon Lime? I apologize. Yo, he's an obscure boy who was supposed to be Bone Crusher's younger brother, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and if I also remember correctly, he also didn't make it into the show because of that. So, not trying to say that to be mean, but I don't. I know Dirt Boss was an animated only specific thing. I also happen to know that was it that I also happen to know that the other ones were kind of a weird mixed bag, if you know what I mean. So, okay, come on. There we go. I feel slightly better. Okay, that's good. That's better. There we go. That's much better. Now I can get Scavenger in his vehicle mode now. It's gonna take me a brief moment, but I can do it. Actually, let's get him into his vehicle mode first, I guess. So there we go. And that collapses up. That goes up here. That goes there. Folds in. Okay, and then this folds right into here. That closes up. There we go, there we go, there we go. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Golly. That just did not want to freaking close up. I apologize if I'm frustrated with that, folks. I don't like repeating myself, and I also don't like having to tell people, hey, I've already acknowledged what you've said several times in the video, and I really just do not appreciate that. However, I do apologize because I know that it was probably meant in good faith. I know it was probably said with love. I know it was probably meant that way. But I'm not a fan of having to repeat myself and having to repeat motions on camera. I don't do it. It just does not work for me. So. Why does this just not... There, okay, that's why it doesn't look right. There we go. Alright, so our boy got 2 legs, and now we got 1 arm. I'm really, really frustrated with this connection bit right there. Right there. This connection bit here. I'm frustrated with it. Hasbro could have easily fixed that, and they didn't. Not to mention, isn't my guy supposed to be movable? Like, isn't his waist joint supposed to be, or his ankle pivot supposed to work? Or does he not have one? I don't think Scavenger has an ankle pivot. Yeah. I think I'm right, too. He don't have an ankle pivot. Like, what did Hasbro expect? You're only supposed to hold this guy in one spot the whole time? Or have just one ankle holding the whole thing. So, alrighty. Yep, what's up? Hello, hello. Where'd you get Mixmaster at? Mixmaster at? His bucket, not him. I got it. Lemon Lime Studios. I wasn't criticizing that. Thomas, check my last message. I haven't gotten that far yet. I did want to meet JDF, but I couldn't because he passed away. But I have met Peter Marie Rickson. Okay. So I'll explain my story here in just a moment here. Message, I said I did want to meet JDF, but unfortunately, I haven't gotten a chance to look at all of this going on in the chat here. WU, meow, what's up going? What's going on? What's up, the strongest prime? He does. The locking tab on Scrapper's bucket, it keeps the toe from moving, and Scrapper has one, it's just super strong. Well, then I'm mess with it because I can't get it to move without it popping this open. So, like, oh my gosh, I think it worked out. That was just ridiculously tight and ridiculously stiff. My apologies. Still. Anyways, more to a point. So let me be real quick about that. I did get to meet JDF. He was a very nice guy. He was very sweet. He was very charming. He wasn't a jerk. He was a pretty decent dude. The version of JDF that I met was a version that was very, very, very guarded, very, very friendly, very, very nice. Had lots of warmth and levity to the conversation that we had, which wasn't a large one, but still, it was a conversation nonetheless that I got to have with him. Good Lord, how the hell? How the hell did they expect half of these people to work on this at all? Because this is how it's supposed to look. I can't, with this going like that? What? Is this on the wrong side? I genuinely am questioning that. Where can you find the Megatron from the last stream? That one, I know you can find him at Target, because that's where he's currently at, but I don't know anywhere else that he would be. So, I can't really use... Well, yeah, I'd love to flip the forearm, oh genius one. I'd love to flip it, but here's the catch. You flip it... Okay, maybe not. Maybe I am wrong. No, I am, and I just used the wrong forearm. I feel stupid. Ugh, damn it. There. Jeez. That was annoying. I feel dumb. I just grabbed the first forearm that was there. I feel stupid. I apologize. Just... Ugh. There. Sorry. I'm just... This is my first time dealing with this. I just unboxed everything. So, all the weapons go over there. We'll get you into your combined form. My apologies. It seems like when people are doing stuff like that, I know you're trying to help, but it's like, I need to figure this out on my own here, because if I can't figure this out on my own, then what does that make me in the realm of YouTube? What does that make me? Makes me incapable. Makes me uncomparable. Makes me incompetent. So, but, come on. Alright, come on. Go in your spots. There we go. There we go. That's better. There we go. Okay. And then... Oh, good job. this one. Shove that all in there. And then... Oh, please don't do that. Just, you know that moment when you're like, I just got everything ready to go, and you're like, I am so close to done, and then all of a sudden it's just like, nah, all that hard work you were just doing, you're just gonna not. Okay, come on, go in your slot. God. Here we go. There it is. That's the spot I wanted. Come on. Come on. Go in your spot. Come on. There. And then this is supposed to tab into that, which it didn't. Frustrating. Also, I know I'm supposed to take... What the? Oh, that's all messed up. Come on. Ah. This is why I hate this. I'm hating this right now. Absolutely hating this. Y'all are telling me, oh, it's a great figure. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. No. This is a nuisance and a nightmare to continue holding on to and dealing with. Only reason I'm keeping it is because it's Devastator. It just does not want to stay tabbed in, and nothing wants to stay in their own frickin' spots. Get in your tab slot. Get in your tab slot. Stay put. God. This is where I screwed up. Because I didn't do this. There. That's better. Then, this guy. Comes up like this. Tabs all these spots in. Just needing to make sure you stay put. I'm absolutely not enjoying this in the slightest. There. Sheesh. There. Devastator. Hooray! That took way longer than it should have. And now I got to put all the guns in place now. I don't really think it matters where you place all the guns, just so long as all of them sit in one spot. Place those ones right there, because I just think those look better sitting like that. And then I will take... This is Hook's gun, I believe. Yeah, we're going to take Hook's gun. It's his back where it needs to be. Then take this. We shall place it here. There. Hooray! Now we've got Devastator. All in his robot mode, finally. Golly, that was annoying. Frustrating. What's going on, Frostbite? I apologize here. So, hold on here. So, rotate the cap until it clicks into place. I already did rotate it. It just didn't want to click into place till now. I'm just glad that I don't got to deal with all of that at this current moment. So, but unfortunately, I do have to take this apart because, unfortunately, I still have to review this guy and this guy. So yeah, Thomas, check my last message. If you're wondering who Peta Marie Rickson was, she was the original voice of Alpha 5. Oh, that's cool. But no, real quickly, to continue, he looks easy in all the videos. I know he looks easy in all the videos. That's why I'm slightly frustrated. But that being said, I will continue with my story on how I met Jason David Frank. So I was working at a toy store in Provo, Utah, and my boss just happened to be working with Jason David Frank at the time. And now take note, Jason David Frank at the time was like, super into fitness. He was super into working out and everything of that nature. And I do hear you. I do say hi. I do say hi, Gordon the Glowworm. I did know you were here. I am very much aware you're here. But there was a guy. I literally was in the store. I was waiting for my shift to end. And take note, like I said, I'm not really a Power Rangers fan, so I'm not really the type of dude who's gonna notice and or recognize every little detail that's going on in the shop. Especially because my job was to just basically make sure that nobody stole from us, and make sure that everybody got paid at the end of the week. That was the whole point. So I'm in the shop. It's dead. It's deader than dead inside. I'm not really paying attention. I'm just kind of just trudging along, waiting for my shift to end. And right around 7:45, about 15 to 20 minutes before the shop closed, this really large dude, and when I say large, I mean buff. I mean buffer than buff. He was ripped. Strong man, freaking, the strong, the national strongman title things that they do. That was what I was assuming this dude was. And part of me was like, oh, is he coming in here to steal? Is he coming in here to... What's he coming in here for? And then he walks right up to my counter and he says, hey, where's your boss? And I'm like, I don't know where my boss is. He should be here any minute. And he goes, okay, well, do you know who I am? And that was the first time I've ever gotten the do you know who I am from somebody who I may or may not have should have known who they were. And I was like, I genuinely don't know who you are, man. My boss is probably going to have to tell me who you are because I don't know who you are. And he was very friendly and very sweet about it. He goes, not that it's really that big of a deal. He goes, but I'm Jason David Frank. And again, I was just like, okay, again, don't know who you are, don't really care who you are. I would just like to know why you're in my shop, or why you're in the shop tonight, right? Well, whilst I'm talking to him and we're talking about how everything is going and how life is treating us both, and how I was like, oh well, that's So I started talking to him and he told me a couple things about what he was doing that week and why he was in Utah, and I was like, well, that's cool. Apparently they were shooting down in the Salt Flats or something like that. So, hotter than hell out there. So, basically, he just wandered into the shop. My boss then walks into the shop and he goes, Jason! And I'm sitting here like, okay, can I leave? Is my shift over? Is this something like I give a shit for? And then, and he's like, do you know who this is? That's my boss. He's telling me, do you know who this is? Do you know who that is? I'm like, no, I have no freaking clue. Can I go home now? I'm just basically coming at it from the employee standpoint of, I don't know who this dude is. I don't care who this dude is. I just want to go home, eat some food, go to bed, wake up, do my job, and then get, basically come home, go to bed, wake up the next morning, and do my job the next day. Right? That's pretty much the whole thing of what I'm in the mindset for. And then all of a sudden, my boss just says, "Dude, this is the Green Power Ranger." And of course, Jason David Frank, he finally gets this smirk on his face, like, hey man, come on, you don't know who I am? I'm like, And I still am sitting there looking at my boss, looking at my boss's wife, and looking at the Green Ranger himself. And I'm literally just looking at it like, okay, you're the Green Power Ranger. Can I fucking go home, boss? I don't care that he's the Power Ranger. I don't care that he is a Power Ranger. I don't care that any of this is going on to the slightest. Pretty much is pretty much what I told my boss. I'm like, I don't care for this. This is not my MO. This is not my jam. This is not something that I'm gonna actively want to go out and do. And he, of course, was like, okay, 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 no big deal, no big deal, right? Well, I'm like, okay, no big deal, no big deal. Also, hi, Gordon the Glowworm. Beep yourself, too. Hi. But, basically, my boss is telling me, like, oh, yeah, this is who he is, this is who he is. And then I get the green light from my boss to finally go home. I shook Jason's hand. I went home and then had to research who the hell he was. Now, take note. I am telling you this because I am not a Power Rangers dude. Never have been. Never wanted to be. Never really understood the whole premise or idea of Power Rangers. My big thing was Transformers. There was a little bit of He-Man in there. There was Thomas the Tank Engine. There was a lot of other things that were going on in my life. You know, maybe not. You know, in my childhood, I watched maybe 3 episodes of Power Rangers, but because my father is a 5th degree black belt in Taekwondo, I don't really care about it. So yeah, same here. I really couldn't understand. I never got into Power Rangers. What's up, Shane? Scalarude? Hey, I think I remember you. Me neither. I could not understand Power Rangers. I don't care for it. And take note, like I said, if I was not a child of a Taekwondo master, I would not care. Like, I probably would watch it. I probably think it would be the shit. I think it probably would be the coolest thing on TV. But because I know what a real fight looks like, and it doesn't, you know, I can't I can't look at that and go, yeah, that's exactly how a fight would go down. That's exactly how things would go down. I'm the dude who's like, bam, you're down. So I just don't mouth off. I just don't mouth off to your dad. My dad and I, well, we don't, well, okay. I'll just put it to you this way. My dad and I talk to each other. We just don't fight each other because we don't really care. I don't know Power Rangers myself. I have a friend who's a big fan of Power Rangers, though. And take note, like I said, I have nothing against people who are fans of Power Rangers because Transformers brought way to the Megazords. So, yeah, the Power Rangers did quite a bit of sound effects. I do agree. And take note, the thing that really frustrated me the most about this was the fact that they tried to pass off what was it? Was it Aikido that they were trying to perform in the show? If it was, I think it was Aikido. But my thing is that I know what actual contact in a fight looks like. I've felt it. I've been in the ring. I've sparred with other Taekwondo students. I've sparred with other masters. I've sparred with my father. And in the same hand, I can't justify these Hollywood executives and these TV show writers going, oh yeah, wha 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 wha, and then bam, 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 oh, and you're done, and the whole thing is done. And it's like, where's the fight? Where's the broken bones? Where's the broken fingers because you couldn't throw a punch correctly? By the way, I really would like to tell, if any Hollywood executives or any Hollywood stuntmen are watching, you guys can't throw a punch for shit. This is how you throw a punch. With your thumb right on the inside of your hand. Right here. Not like this. Not like this. Because this is how you break your fingers. So, anyways. That is cool, though, Gordon the Glowworm, that you do jiu-jitsu. I think jiu-jitsu is probably one of the more mastered of the techniques that you would be going into. So, excuse me while I take another drink of my unsponsored drink whilst off camera, because it's, Tuesday, and I can. So, yeah, they get up pretty fast after a couple of kicks and hits. Yeah, agreed. Dude, I was watching this because my boss had Power Rangers on loop in one of our shops that I went to go work at in Salt Lake. We had two shops. There was one in Provo and there was one in Salt Lake. The one in Salt Lake, however, I ended up having to run all the way from like down towards like Payson, Nephi area, all the way up to Salt Lake City. I was pissed off all the time having to do that shop. But I did enjoy working at that shop because it was mostly dead a lot of the time, and because I got to control the TV and whatever was on there. Do you have all the Dinobots? Yes, I do. I do have all the Dinobots. I do have all the Dinobots, and fortunately now I got all the Constructicons. To which, by the way, if you guys are wondering, this guy is technically the smallest Titan that exists. So, kind of like me with trains. I've told you this, but if trains aren't portrayed realistic, yeah, I agree with you on that one, Riveted. But if trains aren't portrayed accurately or realistically, it's extremely annoying to me, and I hate fantasy train designs. Just base it on a real engine. If it's a non-prop, then have a sip for me. What should poison curiosity? You're back. Oh, hey, welcome back. But my thing is like I don't have a problem with curiosity, and I don't have a problem with going and being a scientist and going and testing things for yourself. But what I have a problem with is that when you're gonna sit there and tell me this is how this goes in the real world, and it's like, no, it fucking isn't. Go grow some balls. Go get an actual Hollywood writer and call it there. Yes, I've seen the 4-foot Metroplex. In fact, I've actually seen the 7-foot Metroplex. I haven't seen it in person, but I do know it exists, and it's floating around on Facebook. You can find it anywhere if you look. So, do I have the biggest combiner? This technically would be the biggest combiner, but if we're talking about the Combiner Wars version of Devastator, I don't have that one because that one was a piece of shit. I'm just being honest with you. I did not appreciate the Combiner Wars Devastator. I'm going to be real with you. This will be my definitive Devastator for the rest of time because of how well this looks. Like, seriously, I can't complain. The freaking Motormaster doesn't look like trash. Scrapper, while yes, he is a little bit of an issue with the connection port with the leg and this bit here, I don't have a problem with that. Same thing goes with the arms. I don't have a problem with that. The head, I wish it was on a ball joint, but I can't complain. Now we can have, Smushstator, whole thing going on there. But that being said, if you guys have not done so already, please do not forget to subscribe for more content because we are seriously very, very, very close to doing... oh, wait, hold on. Out of all combiners, believe it or not, this is actually the only combiner I own. I refuse to purchase the combiners for 3 specific reasons. The first reason I don't like purchasing combiners, I've noticed that Devastator's pretty wide in the chest. Yeah, he's a little wide in the chest. He's also a little wide in the knees as well. But then again, I know there's going to be a DNA design upgrade kit that comes with it, so I'm not going to be surprised about it. But out of all the combiners, this guy's probably the only one that I'm going to own, specifically because it's Devastator, A, and B, because I really don't see a need to own all the combiners. If I owned all the combiners, I'm fairly certain I would be homeless by now. But I also can't say that owning the combiners is a problem, because if you own the combiners, that's great. That's great, man. They come to right about here on Devastator, right about shoulder length on Devastator, maybe a little shorter. But I don't have a problem with that. Hold on, how is your favorite combiners? This is my favorite combiner. I'm not going to lie. Devastator has always been my favorite combiner out of all of them, specifically because, number one, Constructicons. All of these things you see in the real world. Granted, you don't see them in this color scheme, but you do see them in the real world. So, hold on here. How is your favorite combiner? But, yeah, like I said, he is my only favorite combiner because I would be broke and homeless if I owned all of the combiners. They'd just be free. Take note. Do you guys remember what the first combiner was? It was Legacy Motormaster. And or maybe not the first combiner, but the first combiner for this type of scale was Motormaster. And Motormaster was ridiculously expensive to get a hold of. He's still ridiculously expensive to get a hold of. If you tried to get a hold of a Mixmaster, or not Mixmaster, hold on here. Thomas, do you think there should be a 4-foot or 7-foot Tripticon? I do, believe it or not. I'm one of those weirdos who says, you know what, the bigger, the better. And if I had enough money, do I have the live action Devastator? I did have the live action Devastator. However, I had a knockoff of it, which I did have for a quick minute because I got it from TFCon LA. So when I got that thing from TFCon LA, I basically struck a deal with a dude because I ended up actually. Hold on here, Thomas. Do you think there should be a 4-foot or 7-foot Tripticon? True. I agree with Corey Tucker. I agree with you on both. I agree with both of you, Gordon the Glowworm and Corey Tucker. But I ended up getting that as a result of a trade that I did. I paid $65 because I was already in the midst of purchasing it. And what ended up happening was, whilst I was at TFCon LA in 2023, which, by the way, was a wonderful TFCon. I don't know that you could go do that now. But when I was there, I did get to meet Rick Alvarez, who was one of the head creators of Transformers Prime. Now, I got a Transformers Prime Bulkhead and a Transformers Prime RC signed by him. And there is actually proof and pictures on this that you can actually go see on my community posts. Take note, it might be a couple years back into the past, but it's there. So, true, they are quite expensive. But Menasor is a good combiner, and I agree. I'm struggling to get Devastator. I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. And take note, like I said, this guy, hardest thing I've ever had to complete. Okay, because just getting a hold of long haul and hook was the hardest thing I've ever had to deal with. Because, take note, when I was trying to acquire them, they were not at Target, like, freely to go get. When I went to go purchase Long Haul and Hook, excuse me, when I went to go purchase both of them, they both were still on pre-order. And by the time they finally came off of pre-order, the company that I had purchased them with basically was pushing my pre-order date further and further and further back. And when I say further and further back, I mean we're talking like I was supposed to get these guys in August. They were telling me it wasn't going to show up until the end of this year. Which is why I canceled my pre-order with them and went to Big Bad Toy Store, which is where I got these two here. So I will 100% say, GameStop, you guys need to stop with the lying. So yeah. Alright, but now that we've done that, and we've gotten some of the ranting and the raving out of the way, now we can work on getting all of this done, because I need to get these guys in their vehicle modes, and we need to get, not that we need to end the live stream, but we need to make sure that we are keeping people in a reasonable time frame here. So need that to go there, and then we shall basically just work on all of that to go back into place there. Close this back up. Sweet. And then, hooray! Alright, so there's that. And now I gotta look and see which weapon was his. Because then I gotta take that weapon out from wherever the heck it is. Alright, so that's his weapon. I'm not gonna mess with Mixmaster until... Actually, I think I will. I think I will mess with Mixmaster, but I will put his chest back. I will put his chest back. I'm not cruel. I'm not cruel. So, that, and we can leave it pegged into this arm here. There. So, so do you think that Transformers should have genders? I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to keep myself silent on that front. Because I personally do agree with the fembots. I do love the fembots. I think they're freaking awesome. RC particularly is one of my favorites. But I don't really think genders and sexualities and anything of that nature belong in a robot show. Especially when they're robots. Sexuality doesn't really need to exist. So... yeah. Do you think? Yeah, I'm an Amazon person, but I really like the prices of Big Bad Toy Store. But it takes forever for Big Bad Toy Store to pre-order. Yes, I do agree. They kind of do know. But my thing is that I don't think genders and sexuality should be in a show about transforming robots fighting in a war. I don't really think that's a necessary thing to have to really bring up. Although I do know that IDW has brought it up a couple times. But I personally don't think it's a necessary thing to bring into a cartoon and or a toy and or a... Actually, better yet, I don't think it's appropriate to have genders and sexuality in a show where characters can't even procreate. Do you guys know how they actually are redone? All right, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to do stuff on my own. You can go right on ahead, man. But at the same time, I do agree with you on the pre-order stuff with Big Bad Toy Store. It does take forever for stuff to get here. So, but like I said, I don't think it needs to be there. I just think that genders I don't think it's necessary. But because if you break it down, robots can't have genitalia. So, I mean, yeah. But I'm just going to leave it at that. Leave it alone. We're gonna ignore that topic, and we're going to bring it back to actual robots here. So, to which, that being said, I gotta ask the chat here, what is y'all's favorite robot that y'all have seen in the show? Ever. Gotta say. So... yeah. So, but that's why I also didn't like Earthspark, is because they decided to bring that into the show when it really didn't need to be brought into a show at all. So, alright, well, we shall get Mixmaster out from there. So, him out from there. I'm going to move this. So, anyways, that's just my opinion. You asked. I don't really like talking about it because it's not something that is really privy to any of my conversations. It's not really privy to anything that goes on this channel, and we really just don't need to speak about it. We don't need to talk about it. It's not something that needs to be brought up every single time in every single daily conversation. So, close that back up. Close that back up. There we go. Mixmaster. So, yes, Grimlock. Agreed. Grimlock, Megatron. I agree. Jetfire. So, but anyways, that's you. I gotta remember which weapon that guy came with. It's been a minute. All right. That's the weapon I need to grab. So, but we have now come to basically what is going to be roughly the end of said live stream, because we now have to work on the reviews for these guys. We are going to take a quick break from the live streams, and the only reason I say we're going to take a break from them within the coming days is because we are unboxing not one but two figures here. So it's okay. Jetfire minus Combaticons. Sorry, my favorite combination is going to have to be Devastator. I agree. I can't complain. Devastator is probably the best combiner that you can get a hold of, and my favorite part about it is the fact that now that he is one of the best and only mainline combiners you can get a hold of, I can 100% get on board with that. Because I feel like everybody should have Studio Series 86 Devastator in their collection, or at least some form of Devastator in their collection. So, yeah. But real quickly, to continue with the story about how I got that Revenge of the Fallen Devastator, to answer that question, I do apologize. I personally thought it was... I personally think that, you know, if you're going to go for a combiner, like I said, it's going to be these guys. And sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a quick moment. But point being is that if you're going to get if you're going to get something that's going to be worthwhile, and if you're going to get a combiner, try to get Devastator, because I mean seriously, Devastator's just the freaking combiner. He's the one that everybody thinks of when you think combiner. Now, take note, I am not a G1 purist. I really am not. I personally, you could tell me, oh yeah, well, there's a lockdown combiner, and I'd go, oh really? Let me go look and see what that is. So, but I really don't think it's privy to need that. But anyways, I appreciate you guys for changing the topic of conversation. That being said, I do have all of the Dinobots. Someone did ask me that question earlier. There is actually a fan mode for Megatron, that being said, and I did show that off in my live stream, and I did show that off in the review that comes out later this week. Don't forget it. So, that being said, if you are trying to get not just these two, also these two, by the way, this is not this is the first version of Grimlock, not the second, not the re-release that is currently out at Targets that you can go get right now with not just him but him too. So just be aware of that. So yeah. Anyways, I think we'll keep the stream going for probably another 10 to 15 minutes, and then we shall end it because it's late and people have jobs to get to and lives to get back to. So we'll keep it going for another 15 minutes and we'll see what goes on. That being said, if you guys are not subscribed already, please don't forget to subscribe, because if you guys are subscribed, you guys can be notified on when the review for these two come out, or reviews for these two come out, and for when the final combining review is going to be for Grimlock. So, or not Grimlock, Devastator. My bad. So my tongue gets tired. I can't speak properly. Can't speak properly. So, but anyways, take note. You can totally you can do whatever the heck you think with my words on tonight's stream. I just don't like. You can twist and skew my words all you want, but for those who actually know what I mean, you'll understand within what happened this evening, and I'm just gonna let that go. So I'm going to get Grimlock and Devastator, or at least try to get Devastator. I got to be real with you. This is really good, and this, like, all of these four figures right here, if you can find them out in the wild, 100% go for it. It's like, it should be go time for all of them. They're just amazing figures. Like, seriously, this Mixmaster was the one that I was the most scared for. So... sorry about that, folks. Just needed to take a quick drink. So, but no, like, I was the most scared for this Mixmaster because I was so afraid of how badly they were going to screw it up, if they were going to screw it up at all. And I turned out to be wrong. And that's one of those things where I'm like, I am so glad that I turned out to be 100% wrong. So, yeah, I can't complain on that front. Cannot complain. So, now that being said, we will do a full review of the Studio Series 86 Devastator when we get into the Studio Series 86 Devastator completion video. Now take note, we are going to do several videos on Devastator. My target has a Grimlock. My gosh, I'm going to try and get it. It's a good figure. Take note, he does not come with the sword. You actually have to get a hold of Swoop in order to get this. But pretty much that's that's the gist of that figure. I mean, it's really, really good. I mean, seriously, for those of you who do not know, this guy has been redone like so many weirdly different times. So I didn't notice it was still recording when I said, "Oh my gosh." It's okay. It's okay, man. Don't worry about it. But my point is that this Grimlock and this mold in particularly has been reused, redone, rehashed, revamped, redone all throughout like the last 5 years since it was released. Actually, 4 years. I think it's 4 years since it was released. Actually, that being said, somebody tell me down below when this came out. Did it come out in 2020 or 2021? I can't remember exactly, but please let me know. So, yeah. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of the blue version. Yeah, that would be G2. That's the G2 Grimlock that they, or at least one of the versions of the G2 Grimlock that they've released so far. Um, they've actually released like 5 different versions of this Grimlock. Okay, the first one that they released was this one. This is the one that I've currently got. And this is the original. This is not the second. This is not the re-release. This is the exact. This is the first version. So they released that version. Then shortly after, they released a G2 Grimlock that was banana yellow with tiger stripes. It was supposed to be an homage to an original G2. Then after that, they did Shattered Glass, which I can and can't get on board with. I can and can't get on board with it because it's Shattered Glass, which I do love the paint scheme. I do love the way it looks. But I can't get on board with it simply because of the price. Okay? And I'm not upset that Hasbro was like, oh, new series, new shit, new price tag, deal with it. That one actually sounds interesting. I have to look that one up. But yeah, no. But that one was, but it came out in Legacy Evolutions. Okay, so like a lot of the reissues of this Grimlock were from Legacy and Legacy Evolutions. So the first one that they did was Legacy Evolutions G2 Grimlock, which was banana yellow. Did not come with wheelie. Did not come with the sword. It did come with the gun, exactly the way it looks there. So that one is not a really big surprise. That one came out with the Toxitron ones. That was the Walmart secondary exclusive line that you could get at Walmart, which was G2 Grimlock, Toxitron, Cloud Cover, G2 Breakdown, G2 Sideswipe, G2. What was it? I can't remember what it was, but he was a white motorcycle. And the final one was G2 Breakdown. So I can't complain about that one. Hold on here. I can't remember either. Wait, hold on. So recently I've been seeing a lot of, can't remember either. That one actually sounds interesting. I have to look it up after this. It didn't come with wheelie. Yes, it did not come with wheelie. How could they leave him out? Well, because that was supposed to be a quote-unquote concept version of Grimlock that did not get released. And they also didn't release Wheelie in the Shattered Glass version either, because from what I understand, Wheelie did not appear in Shattered Glass until much later. So that one I can understand, but they re-released that one. They re-released, so that's the first re-release, was the G2 one that was banana yellow. Then they did, so we have the G1, the G2 re-release. Then they did the Shattered Glass, which was again pretty good. Then the third one, or the third one that they did was the what was it? Was it Godzilla? Yeah, I think it was Godzilla. Was that one? Or no, it was the comic edition. That's the one they did first. They did the comic edition, and the fifth one that they're currently working on is the. Correction, they're the fifth one, or the one that they did after that would be the Godzilla Megatron, which came with Megatron. I believe it came with this version of Megatron's head sculpt. I don't 100% know, but it came with this version of Megatron's head sculpt with this version of Grimlock's body, and I believe they turned him into Mechagodzilla. I'm not 100% certain. Don't quote me. So That's what they did, and then then the fifth and final version that I know of that they've released is the G2 Grimlock with Wildman Wheelie. And that actually is comic book accurate, so I can't complain about that. So that actually sounds kind of cool too. Well, take note, I wouldn't have a problem with that if it didn't look so freaking ugly. Okay? Like, take note, Hasbro does really well with a lot of their figures. Okay? They do really well with their figures, they do really well with their secondary figures, and they do really well with their crossover figures. I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is them reusing molds to the point where it just gets so dull. It gets so dull to the point where you're like, why am I continuing this hobby? Why are you guys continuing to push stuff out? So, got school tomorrow, so bye, bro, Firestream. Yeah, we will be we're only going to continue for a few minutes, so we're ending it here in like the next 4. I'm just finishing this little nitpick and rant that's currently going on. But the point being is that they used to make really, really, really good exclusive figures. Take note, they would take a figure with a mold that was extremely difficult to get a hold of. Like for example, and a good example of that exactly is the Transformers, what was it, BotCon exclusive animated Cheetor. That figure was borderline perfect. They could have released that as its regular own thing. And the same thing goes with the Stunticons and Motormaster. They could have easily made that their own separate line. They could have had a wave like what, 5, 6, and 7 of Transformers animated if they really had tried. So, not to mention, I am really looking forward to seeing if they continue with the idea of continuing with Transformers Animated Season 4. Because they actually have expressed concerns. They've expressed a lot of interest in doing so. I would personally like to see it happen. So if it does happen, great. That'd be awesome. They have to start right where they left off with Blur in the trash compactor. So, yeah. All right, well, we are going to end the stream here in just a minute. So, that being said, let's get through all of the comments here so that way we know what's going on. So, anyways, y'all get shouted out at the end of the live stream. This could take me a moment. So, please do not forget to subscribe to Zaga the Animator, Gordon the Glowworm, Riveted Rail Fan, Trooster Tube. Do not forget to do the same with Boing Nemania or Boing Nania, I think that's how it's pronounced. Don't forget to subscribe to TF Shalloway Prime. Do not forget to also check out Corey Tucker. Do not forget to also once again check out Searcher 007. He's a pretty decent, interesting person there. And do not forget to also check out The Strongest Prime. And do not forget to check out Frostbite along with Shane Scalarude. Do not forget to check him out as well. And I think that just about does it here for everything. But we are going to get on with our regular old ones that we do. So do not forget to check out Riveted Reviews, the other side of Riveted Rail Fam. Do not forget to check out Jordy's Rail videos, Patrick's Voice Rails, Alexander Rothschild. Let's see. iStar552, Bravely GG, Kitten Cat Productions. Also, do not forget to check out Lemon Lime Productions. I apologize. I really do apologize. I am so mad at myself. Bad, Thomas Channel 1. Anyways, do not forget to check out Lemon Lime Productions, and do not forget to also check out Kitten Cat 999 as well, and do not forget to check out Take Along Productions, iStar552, all the other peeps I've said previously, because they all deserve it. They're all fans, friends, and family of the show. So please do not forget to do that. And this is Thomas Fan 01 saying, do not forget to subscribe for more content because we are very, very close to getting to 2,000 subscribers, and I'm really wanting to hit that mark before the end of the year. That would make my year super exciting. 1,000 subscribers within a year. I would be very excited about that. So, anyways, this is Thomas Fan 01 saying, do not forget to keep playing with your toys. Goodbye.